Former Epic Games developer and lead designer of Gears of War, Cliff Bleszinski, has spoken out over Twitter in favor of Microsoft's policy to block used games on the Xbox One. He tweets, quote, "You cannot have game and marketing budgets this high while also having used and rental games existing. The numbers do not work, people," end quote. He continued, quote, "The visual fidelity and feature sets we expect from games now come with sky-high costs. Assassin's Creed games are made by thousands of developers," end quote. Cliff went on, "Newsflash, this is why you're seeing free-to-play and microtransactions everywhere. The disc-based day one $60 model is crumbling," end quote. Hours later, he responded to his followers saying, "Those of you telling me, then just lower game budgets, do not understand how silly you sound, right?"
Called it.
Okay, so this is where myself being in the industry for not just a journalist but a developer, this is where it kind of comes back to haunt me, because I'm not ignorant to what's happening right now. I'm far from ignorant right now from what's going on here, and it's sad, it's annoying, you know, but I kind of envy the ignorant right now. But I'm going to try to school you on a couple of things here. So Cliff Bleszinski was the first developer to come out and say that he is pro against used games. He's pro DRM. Now, I already knew this because I've always spoken to, not him particularly, but I've spoken to some developers, I've spoken to some publishers. They've already pretty much said the same thing, not right out and said it, but for the most part, they were not upset by any means or sense of the word with Xbox One and Microsoft. You know, so all the gamers are like, go Sony, you are for the gamer, you are for the gamer. And then at the same time, Microsoft and developers are saying, go Microsoft, you are for the developers, you are for the developers. So the thing is that, which I really don't understand why you pro gamer when, technically speaking, if the gamers don't buy anything, you get fucked. But anyway, here's the thing. This is where it comes down to. Then again, if you're pro developer all the way like Microsoft is, after 24 hours of not being connected to the internet, you are fucked. So when it's all said and done, it comes down to this. There's a war going on, ladies and gentlemen. There's a big war right now. It is gamers versus developers. That's exactly what's going on right now. Gamers versus developers. And the developers got the money to the point where they are not going to go ahead and bend. At the same time, they need the gamers in order to go ahead and continue not being able to bend, not wanting to bend, So it's like a double negative sword right now. So if you want to be pro gamer, you need to go ahead and pick yourself up a PlayStation 4 or better yet, a Wii U, because the Wii U is more pro gamer than the actual PlayStation 4 is, because even though the PlayStation 4 is for the gamers, the fact of the matter is that they can still have DRM. And no, redemption codes and online codes are just an example of the DRM that they can have, but they can have more than that. And believe me, if that is the extent of what they can have, developers are going to go straight to Xbox One. It's exclusive, And then you have, if you want to be pro developers, for the developers to go ahead and go ahead and actually support the industry that you say you love, then you need to go PC or more towards the Xbox One, because both of them actually do support the developers and publishers more than any other system out there. But here's the situation. This is what you need to know right now. If, in fact, you go pro gamer, keep in mind there's a good chance that you either won't receive games either games will go exclusive to the PC and the Xbox One, or more so the Xbox One than the PC, or you will get the game, but you will get a lower version of the game. Where if you choose an Xbox One or a PC, you might get exclusives that are not on the Wii U and the PlayStation 4. And at the same time, you might get multi-plat games that have more content on it, because they are protected with DRM. So it's more cost conscientious to go ahead and focus on that. Now, it's both a good and bad thing. In my personal opinion, it doesn't bother me any sense of the word. It doesn't, you know. The only problem I have personally with the Xbox One is actually the price point. You know, and the reason why I don't have a problem with DRM is because, one, I'm a PC gamer, so I got to deal with DRM one way or the other, no matter how you look at it. And B, I support the developers. You know, I am a developer, so I support every and all developers because they provide me with, means to entertain myself via my hobby. So I'm going to go ahead and support the developers any way, shape, or form I can. That's the reason why I don't buy used games. You know, even my wife was actually surprised yesterday. We was talking about it, and I told her, she was like, well, look at you. Some of those games in there are used. I told her, I said, none of those games in there are used. I don't have not one single used game in here. You know, and she kind of thought about it and realized that I was right. I had no used games whatsoever. But, I mean, anyway, back to it. You know, he's right, though. The numbers, like, you can't really afford to go ahead and... Those used games are not a good thing. You do not support the developers at all. It's more like, for me, my game that I'm actually putting out there, which you guys will hear about more later on in the future, to be honest with you, it's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. And the reason why is because my game is digital distributed. And to be honest with you, that's the problem. See, last year I told you guys that games are going to go digital distributed the following year. You guys bitch, whine, and complain. You said that you wanted physical copies. That's all you kept saying. Oh, we want physical copies. Well, here's the results of your bitching, whining, complaining. These are the results. It's DRM. And then you got a war in front of you. This is stuff I didn't foresee, mind you, but now you got a war of developers versus gamers in front of you, and all because you wanted disc-based games. So, in terms of what BBC said, it is your fault, but nowhere near remotely about what he said. You know, seriously, the guy had no idea what he's talking about. But it has, it's like, it's nowhere near that. The fault is based because you didn't want to go ahead to the next level of being digital distributed. So what they did was they had to go ahead, because digital distribution has its own version of DRM, which could have been a hell of a lot lighter. All you had to do was buy the games on the Xbox. It would have been locked onto your system and to your to your account, just like it is on Xbox One. Xbox 360, and everything would have been all right with the world. No. Of course not, because gamers had to bitch, whine, and complain, and because they did that, Microsoft had to find a way to go ahead and kind of put two birds with one stone thing in there. Because of that, we got disc-based super DRM. Thank you guys, I appreciate that, you know? But anyway, see, and that's the thing. That's the problem with people only think about what they want instead of what's good for their hobbies, you know? So, I mean, I hope you're happy. You know, because now, if you're going to be a PlayStation or Wii U supporter, now you're not going to get as many games anymore. And then B, all the games that you get that are multi-plat are going to be a weaker version of it. You're not going to get as much free DLC or anything like that. You know, you're going to be missing content. You're going to be missing features. You know, whether with the Xbox One, you're going to be getting all these extra features. You're going to be, I'm talking about Beyond Connect features, by the way. But you're going to be getting features. You're going to be getting new DLC and free DLC. All this. Hell, if it actually works out the way it might work out, say might, you might even be getting a discounted version of the game. Like the game might be discounted. Not only that, but it gets even better. There's a really good chance that it might even do better than that. The games themselves might be actually discounted. You might not have to pay $60 for a game anymore. You know, but that's a little too far. You know, maybe that's too far. Hell, there's a rumor going around that Xbox Live might be free. But it might not even be that. You know, all I'm stating is that I noticed that. Well, no, I ain't going to talk about that right now. What do you guys think? You know, think about that. You know, now keep in mind though, the war thing that I'm talking about, that's legit. That's straight. That's not even. You know, it might happen. It's happening. Get over it. You know, an example of that would be E3. You know, E3 right now, you saw a lot of games. Microsoft had more games than PlayStation 4 did and Nintendo did. You know, games like Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts 3, which was originally exclusive, the mainstream versions at least, were exclusive to the PlayStation platform, is now on Xbox. You know, Final Fantasy Versus 13, which originally was exclusive, is now on Xbox as well. You know, Sony is losing third-party exclusives like crazy now. You know, so you got to decide on what you want to do. You know. Anyway, let me know. I really want to hear your opinions. Peace and love, and good luck.
てめえの正義もさぞ重かろうがこっちもいろいろ背負ってんだよ。